Hey guys, what's up? Gray here, and welcome back to MonoGame. Today I'll be going over the main menu state. This will be the main screen that appears when you open up your game. I hope you find this useful when making your own main menu. So let's open the menu state.cs. First, we'll want to import any necessary libraries. So let's do that now. Alright, these are all of the libraries we'll want. All of these are from the system or from XNA framework. We'll also want the monotube, the different folders. We'll import those so that we can see them there. Now I want to declare a few variables. For now, I'll just do a private texture. So let's do private texture 2D menu background texture, something like that. And then after this, we'll want to do the constructors. So we'll do public menu state, and we'll want to pass in game1. Which is game and content manager. It's right there. And pass in content. And then we'll want to do :base. And we'll say game content. And then after this, some brackets. Alright, now we'll go on to the load content. So we'll do public override void load content. So here in the load content, we'll want to load in whatever textures we want. So we'll have a button texture for the different buttons, single player, multiplayer, settings, exit game, whatever you want. And then we'll have a button font and a menu background texture. So I'm going to do that now. So we'll just say var button texture equals content dot load texture 2D, and we're just gonna call this, we'll say control, it's in controls button for now. And then we're also gonna have var button font, which is equal to content dot load, and we'll have texture 2D. This one will be button fonts. And we'll also have menu background texture is equal to content dot load texture. This will be in backgrounds menu. Perfect. Something that we're also going to want to do is inherit state. So don't forget to do that. And we'll make menu state public. Oh, it just wants us to implement the other classes. Okay. I was like, what is it telling me? Alright, so it implemented the draw method. It implemented the post update and the update. So just so you're not getting lost, that's all it added was those three things that say not implemented exception. So if you were to run the update, it would be like, hey, this isn't implemented yet, just because it was implemented by the code, not you. So let's put the draw method down here and post update after. Go. Today I'm going to show you how to make buttons as well. So right now, let's do that. I'm going to create a new folder, and we're going to be calling these controls. So in controls, create a new item. We're going to call this button. Button.cs, add that. Alright, so first you're going to want to import these. Don't forget that. You can do the same ones that I did. There's just the basic ones from XNA and system. So namespace is the controls, and we're going to want to make this a public class and call it button. So in here, we are going to have a regions field. And we'll say private mouse state is the current mouse state. And we'll say private sprite font. And we'll do a private bool is hovering. So if it's hovering the button or not, then it could change the texture or something, whatever you want. Get fancy with it. And then is hovering, so we'll do a private mouse state. We'll do previous state. And we'll do a texture, because we're going to need textures, texture 2D. Just say texture. And we can end the region here. So we'll also want to do another region, which we'll call properties. And in here we'll do the clicked bool, so public bool clicked. And we can do this for it. So we'll say get and private set. And then we'll also want an origin, so public float. Oh, sorry, public vector2 origin. And then we'll do get, return new vector2 texture dot width divided by 2, and texture height divided by 2. We're also going to do a public rectangle. And here I will show you. So this is what I use. So you return a new rectangle. You cast an int to position x and int to the origin of x, into the position y minus into the origin y, and then you have the texture width and the texture height. Don't worry about any errors for now. I'll get to them in a second. We can also do public string text if we wanted to. And then we can print out that string of text later on. Alright, and then we'll want to end region. Here we'll say region methods. And we can say public button. This would be a texture 2D texture. And sprite font. Perfect. And then right here we'll do that. And we'll say underscore texture is equal to texture. Underscore font is equal to font. And that should be about it. Yeah, perfect. Alright, we're going to want to make a draw method. So we'll say public override void draw. This is going to have game time and sprite batch. Alright, to make the draw method, we can say var color is equal to color.white, maybe. And then if is hovering, we can say color is equal to color.gray, maybe. Now I want to draw the button into the middle of the page there, so I'll say sprite batch.draw texture and position null color 0f origin So yeah, you can see right there what we're doing. We're putting all these together: rectangle, color, flow, origin, and then sprite effects. We'll say 1F and sprite effects dot none, and then just layer. We can create layer right under clicked. We'll say public float layer get set. There we go. Now we have the layers, so you can have basically any sort of layers in your game, being textures or whatever you want. We're not done yet though. So now that we have that, alright, so this is if it's not a string or it's null or empty, then it'll actually print it out in the rectangle X, and the half the width, and then the font measure string text, and then it'll draw the string. So we also need pen color. So let's go up here and do that. We'll do this right under origin. We will say public color pen color get set, and we can also do position. So we'll say public vector to position get set. That should fix some of the other issues. Alright, get rid of the override. States is a namespace, but it's used like a type. Okay, we'll get to that in a bit. We haven't gotten to the rest of that. We're still going step by step. We have to do button. So let's finish this. Now that if it's null, it'll print the text. Lastly, all we want is the update method. So public override void update, and we'll pass in game time. And here in the update method, we'll say previous mouse is equal to current mouse. This is supposed to be previous mouse, my bad. So previous mouse is equal to current mouse, and current mouse equal to mouse.getState. Then we'll say var mouse rectangle equals new rectangle, current mouse.x, comma current mouse.y, comma 1, comma 1. There we go. So now we have a rectangle, mouse rectangle. Now we're going to say is hovering is equal to false. Set it to default like that. And we'll say if mouse.rectangle dot intersects with a rectangle, we'll say is hovering is equal to true, and we'll do a nested if current mouse dot left button equals button state dot released, and previous mouse dot left button is equal to button state dot pressed. Then we'll do some brackets, and in here the last bit is click question mark dot invoke this new event args. Click. There we go. So to fix this click, we have to go to right here, and we're going to use public event handler click. So that'll just use the event handler for the click method right there. And so when you click, it'll know, boom, events. All right, so we can end the region, and we are done with the button. Let's go back to the menu state. All right, here in the load content, we're going to want to create a new button. So we'll say new button, button texture, and button font. And use brackets, and we're going to say text equals 1 player. Position is equal to a new vector2 game1 dot screen width divided by 2 comma 400. After position, we're going to have click equals new event handler. We'll say button underscore 1 player underscore clicked. Comma here. And we can say the layer if we want, but I'm not going to do that in this tutorial right now. So I'll just say that. So to give you a little heads up, you can see what it's like. We do need to import controls. So we'll say using monotube.controls. And now we shouldn't be getting any errors. Let's do this, and we'll copy this. Alright, so we have a second button now, and we'll say this is the high scores. High scores. Alright, and then we'll create a new one. And this one will be called exit. So it's like you're exiting the game. So then when you're on the last button, you do the that, and then you have to put that and that. Alright, something we have to do is go into button and component. Make that here component. And use that system. So something I should have done is I'm going to make a private list. So I'll just say private list component. And just be components. There we go. Okay, so now that we're using the component model, we have the components, and we'll do a list here. So we'll say above the new buttons, we'll say underscore components is equal to a new list. Component. There we go. And that'll encapsulate that. Alright, and that removes that error, so that's perfect. So for the second half of the video, we're just going to go over all the methods. The methods you'll need are the first player clicked, high scores clicked, quit button, the update and the post-update methods. So let's do all those now. The first one I'm going to do is the first button player clicked. So I'll say private void button underscore player, first player, or 1 player, however you want to say it, clicked. And this is going to be object sender event args. And here we're gonna put this in brackets and say underscore game dot change state. And we'll say new game state underscore game, comma, underscore content. And then in here, we're going to want to say player count is equal to 1. Comma, and then you gotta do some weird thing right here where it's like boom, boom, boom. Alright, and player count is going to be something that we define in the game state, which will be in the next episode. So just stick around for that. This won't run right away, but as soon as we get done with game states, it'll all run perfectly, and I'll even give you the code. So let's finish this off. We have the first button. Let's just copy this, and then we'll make the 2 other buttons. So this one is going to be high scores. So high scores. Here we can just say underscore game dot change state new high score state. That's what it is. And then here we'll do quit. And then here we'll say quit. Here we can just say .game.exit or underscore game.exit. Yeah, we haven't done the high score state either, so that's going to freak out. Let's go on to the update. So in the update, we're going to say for each var component in component dot update, and we'll pass in game time. Post update is going to be empty, so that's fine. And then draw, we'll have sprite batch begin and sprite batch end. And inside here, we will have sprite batch dot draw menu. So we need that menu background, which is menu background texture. And we'll say new vector 2 0, 0 and color dot white. Alright, and then we can also do for each var component in component dot draw game time and sprite batch. Alright, that's it for this episode. There are a few errors, but once we get through game states and high scores, everything should link together. So stick around, and soon you'll have a full code. So thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.